Hello and welcome to Stretford Paddock. My name is Joe and this is the preview for Manchester United versus Manchester City. Real football, real football, real football. It's been nearly a month, Jay, where we've had to watch Faroe Islands. And then now, not only is football back, but what a game to Erik's come back with.
Do you know, exactly, bro. Seriously. I'm sick of seeing,
good.
Do you know what, the likes of, just Phil Foden and Luke Shaw and all them lot. I haven't watched.
Last person I want to say. I have to watch a game with Jack Grealish in it.
Yeah, exactly. I've had enough of all that, so we need to get back to proper football.
United versus City.
Yeah,
perfect. Exactly. How good is it that it's back, though? It's so good, isn't it?
It's good, but it's also scary.
All right, well, what's scary about a man that scored 40
when you've been
goals
locked
in 10
up
games?
for months and you finally get your release date, and then you're going to get released, and then as it gets closer, you have that little bit of nerves as well, because you're like, oh, actually, I don't know if I want to be let back into society. Do you know what I mean? It's like one of them ones, isn't it? Yeah, innit?
Yeah.
No? All right, no worries.
Like Morgan Freeman in
Shawshank
Redemption.
The Shawshank Factor. No, I think that whilst I'm excited, I'm nervous because it's Man City.
Yeah.
That's the problem. And also, what you've just mentioned there, we've not played football for ages. In the meantime, City have played Dortmund in the Champions League, and they had one of their Premier League games, I can't remember which one, it doesn't matter, which was on when ours was off. So they're a little bit more match fit than we are, which concerns me even more.
Yeah, but the thing... Erling Haaland. Let's just get into that.
Do we have to?
We can beat around the bush all we want. We can talk about international break. We can talk about this, that and the other. We have to start with Erling Haaland. 14 goals in 10 games.
Pathetic.
To say he's hit the ground running would almost be an understatement.
Yeah.
He's... What? Have you seen it, what he's doing? And the annoying thing is, let's be honest, he's not even been good. He's barely touching the ball.
Yeah.
He's literally like a machine.
Yeah.
Like, do you know on like Robot Wars, where like they used to have the floor of the Robot Wars arena? On some parts of it, there was like a really big spinny thing at the side. So you'd be driving along normally, and all of a sudden, the spinny thing hits you, and you just go flying. Yeah. He's like that. Most of the time, he's not even in play. No. The spinny thing's just at the side. No one's even... But then when the ball comes near him, in the net.
Yeah.
Like, he just has 4 touches a game and scores 2 goals. Like, it's not even real what is happening, is it?
No. I mean, everything we feared when Haaland went to City has come to fruition, because you knew that when he was going to go into that side, and people were making a big deal out of the situation with him losing Sterling, or, well, let's say letting Sterling and Jesus leave, basically. Oh, they're going to miss him. No, they're not going to miss him, because they've got Haaland who... can score goals at any level, and especially when he's got the likes of Kevin De Bruyne putting him on a plate for him. Not even on a plate, because I think he's scored far more goals than expected. You look at what he's scoring at sometimes, half chances. Yeah. And this is what we were worried about. And my only hope is that whilst he has been mint, there's no point in pretending he hasn't. There are games where he has drifted in and out of him a little bit, and I just hope that our defence can cope with him enough to keep him quiet.
The thing is, he's got 11 goals so far this season in the Premier League in 7 games. With an XG of 6.5. Now, and I'm not the biggest XG, but basically he's outscoring his XG by a sort of almost like, what's the word? He can't keep doing this, is what I'm trying to say.
Inconceivable, or no, not inconceivable. Sorry, I don't know. I know what you mean. Like,
he can't carry on what he's doing, basically, because most top players, or the real top strikers, do outscore their XG because they are better than the average striker.
Yeah.
And XG is based on basically everything that happens in football. Yeah. But you can't outscore it by double, which is basically what he's doing. So I think there will be a point where he does have sort of lulls in the season, and that he won't outscore it by as much as he is now, and hopefully that can start with United. Do you think that we can stop him, or not necessarily him, but stop Man City providing chances to him? Because that's almost the more crucial thing, isn't it?
I mean, let's face it, Erling Haaland he scored loads of goals, but it's not like it's impossible to stop him. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can stop Erling Haaland from scoring. It's very, very difficult, but it's doable. And that's what Manchester United have got to do. And listen, we know that a lot has been made out about Lisandro Martinez and his height and how's he going to cope when he comes up against Erling Haaland. He's played against him in the past, played against him when he was at Ajax and Haaland was at Dortmund, and did a good job against him. So we've got a hope, and again, it's hope, that he can do something similar, and that we can not just stop Erling Haaland, but cut off the supply to him as well.
That's what I'm saying.
Because that might be the way around it. Erling Haaland is, he's not literally superhuman. He can only score when you give him the ball. So if you stop him getting the ball, there's half the battle. Or if you make him drop so deep he's no longer effective in terms of scoring goals. That could be the answer. So I think the sort of key to this might be stopping the supply to Erling Haaland.
I completely agree, because like we said, some of these games he's literally having 6, 7, 8 touches. Like, he's not a player like Aguero was someone that, and he was a very good poacher, but at times he could pick the ball up 25 yards out, go past one, go past two, and put it in the corner. He did that against United multiple times, drifting across the front of the 18-yard box. But Haaland is someone that is mostly relying on tap-ins, and if we can stop the ball getting to him, you've got a decent chance of stopping him scoring.
It's unsustainable. Is that what?
That's the word.
Is that the word? It's been bugging me that ever since you.
Yeah, me too. Unsustainable is the word I was looking for. And I think his current rate is, obviously, you look at his career, he's got basically a goal a game since he played for Salzburg onwards. So I think he could keep doing some of what he's doing, but to get 11 goals from 6.5 XG, he can't do that all season, because that would put him as the greatest striker ever. Anyway,
I mean, it just seems it's like the perfect storm at the minute. For you've got one of the best teams on the planet, if not the best team on the planet, with arguably the best striker on the planet, and it's just all lining up perfectly for them. And that's the difficulty that we face.
One thing I will say is, and obviously we'll come to predictions in a bit and all that, but even some of the games they've won this season, City haven't been completely dominant, completely emphatic. That game against Wolves, I think it ended 3-1 to City, but there was large portions of that game where City were level or better than City. Wolves were level or better than City with 10 men. Yeah. I don't think they've been quite.
Look at the Palace game or the Newcastle game.
Yeah.
They've had spells where, especially in defence, they've been woeful. Do you know what I mean? And no disrespect to the likes of Newcastle and Crystal Palace, but you think some of the firepower United have got, if those teams can cause them a problem, then we should be able to. So this isn't a perfect Manchester City team. It's just attack-wise, they're just on a different level. But there are, frailties there defensively, because we've seen teams score against them this season. They've conceded quite a few goals by their own sort of high standards that they've set.
Well, let's move on to that then, because this is going to be billed as Ten Hag versus Pep, isn't it? And oddly enough, we've mentioned this as often as we can, because I like to remind myself of it and other people of it. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had a brilliant record against Pep Guardiola. Obviously, when you say Ole versus Pep, well, no one's not picking Pep in terms of what they've won and the sustained success.
I had to do that once on a debate. I got the straw. When it was on Devils, it was like, I can't remember, the debate was something like Ole versus Pep versus Jose. Yeah. And me, Macca and Steve were on it, I think, and we were discussing it beforehand, and someone's got to take Ole, and I was like, I'll take Ole. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
but in those head-to-heads,
he's the better manager.
He had the advantage.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ten Hag is a man that has learned some of what he knows from Pep. I don't think he's quite as copy and paste like Arteta's trying to be, but I think Ten Hag is someone that he had that time at Bayern Munich too when Pep was at Bayern Munich. Yeah. He's used a lot of that philosophy as an ongoing thing. They're obviously both from the sort of Cruyff, influenced managers, but this is going to be a big battle, isn't it? And does it almost concern you maybe that often when Pep comes up against the real tacticians, he outdoes them?
Yeah.
It's usually the games against the likes of Ancelotti or Ole or, managers that are slightly more old school that he tends to struggle, where it is a bit more, get the ball to your best players, attack with confidence, attack with freedom. He used to struggle against Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's counter-attacking systems. And do you worry that Ten Hag is almost going to try and go head-to-head with Pep and maybe quite hasn't got the team to do that?
Possibly. I mean, I think one thing about Erik Ten Hag, he's a pragmatist.
Yeah.
He is. We've seen that already. We had this philosophy about playing out the back, and then he abandoned it, didn't he, against Liverpool, where it was just like, just two-field, just get it up.
He didn't play a short the whole game.
It's like, okay, I've got my principles, but if I need to adapt them, I will do. And also, Erik Ten Hag, he's not daft, is he? He'll have seen the likes of when Liverpool, for example, were beating City in the Champions League, and they had a couple of games, didn't they, where there was high-scoring games and Liverpool counter-attacking. United have done it. Yeah. Like, say, Ancelotti did it. And it wasn't sort of tactical genius, I think, that those games, that City ended up losing those games. A lot of it was counter-attacking, soaking up that pressure. City just, against Madrid, for example, you mentioned that earlier, they were running riot at one point.
They should have won that first game 4-5.
Yeah.
And what was it, 3-1 in the end?
Yeah, and in the second game, where Jack Grealish comes on and they're still going for it, and you think you just run it into the corner, you'll win the game. and then obviously Real Madrid get the goal. So you can do it. And I think Erik Ten Hag will look at how teams have done it. And he might say, you know what we've got to do? We've got to soak up a bit of pressure. The trouble with that is you're inviting the likes of Erling Haaland and Kevin De Bruyne to get at you. And if you concede, then your plan goes out the window because then it's you're chasing the game.
Yeah, I think if there is ever going to be a way that...
Or if you concede first, sorry.
That height discrepancy between Haaland and Martinez is exposed, it will be us sitting deep, them chipping crosses after cross into the box. That's my worry. I think counter-attacking, obviously you can have a counter-attacking cross, of course, but counter-attacking is often more along the floor. It's people running in behind, balls, square balls, that sort of thing. Like you look at some of the great counter-attacking goals that United have scored down the years, most of them aren't headers. No. So if we can limit them to counter-attacks, you're limiting Haaland's ability to use his natural advantage over someone like Martinez in the air. But if they're just clipping balls into the box, ironically, that's what Harry Maguire's very good at defending. Yeah. Do you think that, I mean, we're getting to predict 11s now, do you think that he will go with Martinez and still sit deep? Because to me, that's asking for trouble a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that is a good point. I mean, he might be relying on the idea that Pep won't just ping balls into Haaland. He might think that that's not how they do things. Even though Haaland's a 6'5" striker, he does like it on to feet, and that is how they play. And he might look at it that way. I mean, I think you have to look at what is your best way of beating Man City. Do you go toe to toe with him? Do you go like let's win it? Let's get at him,
beat him at their own game,
attack it from the start on the front foot like we did against Liverpool, where we went at them, and that worked against Liverpool because you look at the way we played, and yes, Liverpool had chances, but so did we, and we took them. And it wasn't a case of us just soaking up pressure. It was actually, if you look at it, we were getting at him quite a lot. Does he do that? I just feel like it. I keep going back to that feeling and that thought that experience-wise, when City have lost, it tends to be they've been counted, especially against Manchester United. We've beat City. Dan James had a better, I don't know if it's still the case, had a better record in the Manchester derby than Pep.
Yeah.
Dan James had something like 3 wins at one point, or 3 wins out of 4 or something. Yeah. No disrespect to Dan James, but I think the likes of Anthony and the likes of Sancho, the form he's in, and Marcus Rashford, the form he's in as well, we can definitely get out and counter-attacking it. You might just have to suck it up and go, right, let's do that. Let's try and soak up a bit of pressure and hit him. And if they do hit high balls in to Erling Haaland, then Martinez has just got to use a bit of his experience in kidology to try and work that one out, because it's not going to be easy, obviously.
Obviously, I'm not going to be stupid enough to say, would you be happy for us to sit back if we win? Not knowing what the result, would you be happy for United to go to the Etihad, sit deep and try and counter-attack? Whatever the result that brought, would you be happy with that as a tactic?
I would, because I think sometimes you have to just sort of be that pragmatist.
You think that's our best chance?
And I think, I might be wrong, and it's not the first time, and people may disagree. And by all means, get involved in the comments if you do, and you think our best form of winning this game, or our best opportunity to win this game is getting at them. Then fair enough. I'm not going to moan about that. I just look at it and I go back to those wins we had against City under Ole, and it was always counter-attacking, wasn't it? The likes of Martial, likes of Dan James, likes of Marcus Rashford. Bruno, of course, playing his part. We did seem to be able to hit them on the break. I look at the games they had against Liverpool when Liverpool had their number for a little while. Even Spurs did it, I think, didn't they? In the Champions League, was it? I think they caught them on the break.
Spurs
memory serves
last season, didn't they, quite comfortably?
Yeah. So it does feel like that is the best way to go about it. But listen, I'm not going to complain if United go down fighting. If Ten Hag says, forget soaking up pressure and counter-attacking football, we're getting at them, we're going at them. We're going to go at him and we're going to take the fight to them in their own backyard, and it doesn't work out, and we lose, 4-3 or whatever, or, it just doesn't work out. I'm not going to moan about a Manchester United manager going into a derby game and telling his team to attack. One of the biggest disappointments for me, about Sir Alex Ferguson's time at United, and there's not many, but I go back to that game in 2012 when we went to the Etihad and we just didn't get at him at all. We just were played for a 0-0, and then Company gets that goal, and it's in their hands. And that was, for me, it still sort of frustrates me that the way United are, especially under Sir Alex, we didn't just get at him and try and win that game, because I think if we had done, we could have at least taken a point, and then we would have won the title. So yeah, I'm not going to moan if a manager goes at him, and I think Erik Ten Hag may well do that. I just feel, if you're asking me the question, what do I think is the best way to beat him? It probably is counter-attacking.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Let's move on to our team predictions then, because it's a big game this, and your team on the screen first there. funnily enough, two things. One, no changes from the Arsenal game. And two, that's the exact same team that I've predicted, independently of you.
Yeah.
So let's just go through this together.
Okay.
Starting from the back.
Yeah.
No question, David De Gea. We don't even need to talk about it.
No,
really,
it's not going to be Martin Dubravka, is it?
No. I think he's injured now as well. So
It's not going to be an injured Martin Dubravka.
Again, stop me when we get to a person that has even got real, a real argument to. A real alternative in the dressing room. Dalot, not really.
No.
Wan-Bissaka's not even in his sights, is he?
No.
Varane, not really. Martinez, not after.
Maguire's injured as well, isn't he? So let's put that to.
Injured.
Let's get the elephant in the room out of the way. Even if you did think Maguire could come in and maybe do an aerial job on Erling Haaland, he's not an option.
No, I don't think anyone would.
No.
And Malacia again. Luke Shaw played okay against Germany.
Yeah, I mean maybe Erik Ten Hag looks at it and goes okay. You've got a good record against City in the past, and at the Etihad he scored, didn't he, a couple of seasons ago? But I doubt it. He looks and goes, you did really well for England midweek. I doubt it, though.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
You did okay for a team that lost one and drew one.
Malacia's done really well. He's not been faultless, Malacia, but when he does lose the ball, when he does get beaten, he tends to get back and still make a tackle and still make a challenge. And he also, if memory serves, and by all means, correct me if I'm wrong, get involved in the chat, I think Van Gaal played him at left-hand side of a back three against Belgium for Holland so he could come up against De Bruyne almost, because I think he felt he'd be a better job than Daley Blind. So, that's almost like the perfect game.
A little training game almost for him.
Booster before this game. So, I can't see the back five changing from the Arsenal game.
Into the midfield then, Eriksen, no one's arguing that again.
Been our best player, I think, this season.
Right up there with Martinez, I would say. And then one that might be a bit slightly contentious is Scott McTominay. No Casemiro in the starting lineup. Obviously, I would say inarguably United's most high-profile signing of the summer, without question, in terms of accolades and sort of global recognisability.
Yeah.
And yet, 4 games after he signed, neither of us putting him in the starting 11. Scott McTominay keeping his place.
I was tempted to put him in alongside McTominay and sacrifice a Bruno or an attacker or whatever. And I just couldn't do it. And I just don't think Ten Hag will do it. I think McTominay has been fantastic the last few games. There was 4 Premier League wins. I think he's played in all of them, and he's played well in those games. I think the midfield, Eriksen and Bruno work well alongside McTominay, and I think there's a real sort of understanding there, and they know when to sort of drop deep and when to press on, and they're all putting a shift in as well, which is going to be invaluable. And I just think bringing in Casemiro, and I can't believe I'm saying this, could upset that.
Yeah,
I think it could do more harm than good to that midfield at the moment. I think eventually Casemiro will be a start for Manchester United. I don't think he's come here to warm the bench, but I just don't know if this game is the first Premier League game you start him in.
I think because also it would, like you just said, it would be his first start in the Premier League for United.
And let's not kid ourselves as well. He has looked a little bit shaky at times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I know he's world class. I'm not saying he's not, but he has been, coming to terms to adapt to the pace of the Premier League.
Yeah.
So, it's not like he's come in and you've seen these cameos from him and he's been amazing.
Yeah.
He's still getting used to it. And I don't think, for me, starting him against City in a midfield that has been playing well, at the expense of someone else, is the answer. I think you can start him. There's loads of games. We've got 9 games in October. There's loads of games he can start in. This won't be one of them.
That again, Bruno, no real arguments there. That front three, though, we're both leaving out Martial because we're still not certain of his fitness. I think he might be back, he might not.
It's so annoying that. It's so... You know what? I used to have this bugbear with, like, Pogba, for example. And it's not his fault necessarily. It's not his fault, but missing the big games.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't mind if they're injured for, the lower teams or whatever. But it's when, they're missing... Martial played 45 minutes against Scousers and he did well.
Yeah.
And then it's like, is he going to be fit for
Arsenal?
Arsenal? And it's like, is he going to? These are the games you want.
And he's been out for a long time now as well, Martial. Like he could well be back,
just
but
frustrating.
As of right now, there's no indication that he is.
And also, do you throw him back in?
Probably not. Not for a start. The question would be, for me, do you have Anthony or Sancho on one side, Rashford on the other side with Ronaldo up front,
or
as we've both gone, Sancho, Rashford, Anthony? I'm sort of the don't change your winning formula. And also, Marcus Rashford is a better counter-attacking striker than Cristiano Ronaldo at this point in his career. At one point, he might be the greatest ever counter-attacking striker, Cristiano Ronaldo, with his pace and his direction and his finishing. But he's not that player anymore. I think a 24-year-old Marcus Rashford is a better option for the way we're likely to play than a 38-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo, almost certainly.
If this was 2008 and Erik Ten Hag was dropping Ronaldo, he'd be sacked.
Especially for what would be, a 9-year-old Marcus Rashford. It would be madness, wouldn't it, Jay?
It'd be insane.
We're playing a 9-year-old up front because in 15 years he will be class.
You can't even do that. But no, he's not. He's 37 years old. He isn't the player that he was when we were doing. You remember those goals against Arsenal, for example, where it was him, Rooney and Park, and it was just meant to watch.
Yeah.
You know, that isn't the type of Ronaldo we've got anymore. Obviously still an effective player and still one of the greatest players of all time. But Marcus Rashford, I think he's United's top scorer this season. Played very, very well against Arsenal. Got his brace. Looks back to the Marcus Rashford we all know and love and we've missed.
Yeah.
So I don't see him getting dropped. And it's probably one where you go, okay, I know he's a big money signing, but that doesn't mean he has to start. Do you take him out of this one and maybe go with a Ronaldo or an Elanga even? I just feel he'll start him. I think, you know, the fact that he's off up and running already and with his goal against Arsenal, I can see him starting. Jadon Sancho was one of the few players who actually did anything good at the Etihad last time we were there. So, and also he's been in decent form as well, hasn't he? And he might have I know I hate saying this because I don't think necessarily there's any truth to it, but I'll put it out there. Maybe he's got a little bit of something to prove because it's his old club. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Let's move on and look at the opposition a little bit then. Let's talk a bit about BetMate as well because, I mean, it's all kicking off. It's absolutely kicking off in the BetMate. Cal, who used our referral code a couple of weeks ago, won £199 on his first time using the app. That's both just good,
you know, creditable and mildly annoying.
Yeah.
Someone's come in there and straight away they've won basically 200 quid.
More than I've won.
Yeah, I am. I'm actually in profit though.
You're doing well.
Yeah, which for me, if anyone knows and watches what I do in fantasy football and things like that, will be amazed. But yeah, no credit to Cal, and it's good to see that, you know, people are winning money on it.
So for those of you wondering what BetMate is a fantasy football app where you pick your ultimate team and make profit doing so. Do you know what I mean? It's not bad, is it?
No.
Yeah, and it's not betting against the bookies. You're betting against other members as well. So if you think you're better and you know more about football than Jay, which,
it's not hard, is it? Come on, anyone who watches this channel knows that.
You can make money. Make sure you use the main pot for Manchester United versus Manchester City this Sunday. It's a £5 entry and you can win a share of £750. Click the link in the description, and this week use the special one-off referral code Paddock10. We have been giving you a £5 bet, but because it's the derby, you get a £10 free bet once you enter any paid pot. Can't even argue with that.
What have you done for your team, Have you
done all sorts.
Have you gone full?
I've gone
all
absolutely
red, like me.
batty. Let me show you what I've done.
Right, because I have this thing, Joe. Yeah. For BetMate, you know, where I will put, obviously, you pick 7 players, you can pick 6, I think, maximum for one team, so you always have to pick a rival player at some point. Now, logic would say throw quite a few City players in there because they're doing quite well, and the chances are some of them will do well.
Yeah.
No.
I love that.
Forget that.
I absolutely love that.
Yeah? I'm not doing that.
What are you doing?
I'm going with United.
Yeah?
Yeah? That's what I'm about. Manchester United. Yeah?
Man United.
Yeah, Manchester United. So I've got the likes of Eriksen in there, Bruno in there, Delo in there.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? Marcus in there. Do you know what I mean?
You going for it?
Going for it.
See, I'm looking like an absolute turncoat heretic at this point.
Start calling you Purple Joe.
Yeah, exactly. Because I've got Edison in there. You have to have at least one City player. So I've gone Edison.
Yeah.
Then I've gone Malassi. I've gone Dallo. Yeah. I've snuck Kevin De Bruyne in there because I'm just covering my back.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but I am. Then I've gone Bruno Fernandes, Rashford, and Erling Haaland as well. And the thing is as well, oftentimes your defenders will get you most points because unlike other fantasy football, as you know, it's about tackles, it's about interceptions.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean?
They've got Opta stats as well. They've got the Opta stats. Yeah. So, you know, it's quite in depth. It's not just goals and assists, like you say, it's interceptions and things like that as well. So you've done a good job there in some of the things you've gone for. I understand that. I'm a big fan of picking the players they're going to put a foot in.
Would you say you've just gone blind loyalty?
A mixture of blind loyalty and optimism.
Right, so you mentioned some of your players there.
Yeah.
You can see man on the screen. Take me through yours properly.
Right, okay. Well, Edison, I've stuck him in there only because you've got, like you said, you've got to have one City player in there. But I've gone full on United. Diogo Dalot, Lisandro Martinez, Christian Eriksen, the best player in the world right now. Also, Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford, and Jadon Sancho. He scored last time at the Etihad. Why can't I do it again? And then I've stuck a few Blues on the bench.
Because you have to.
Scott Carson and that. The only Champions League winner they've got in here.
I think he might be.
Yeah. Bit of trivia for you. Get involved in the comments. Let me know if I'm wrong.
Really good. Great. Right. Well, you've just gone absolutely Manchester United mad, and I love it. That is Jay in a nutshell, right there.
That is me. Manchester United mad. Plus, it's not even that delusional. We'll do him.
Good. I agree.
Yeah. Who've they got? No one.
Make sure, like I said, you check out the link in the description. Enter the pot for £5 to win a share of £750 using the one-off referral code Paddock10. What's the referral code?
Paddock10, because you get a £10 free bet once you enter any paid pot.
£10 free bet is genuinely good, isn't it?
Yeah.
£10 free bets and that. Fucking yes.
That's what we're about, bro.
Right then, let's get into our score predictions and get yours in the comments as well. We sat here a few weeks ago, Jay, and you predicted that Man United would lose 3-0 to Brentford. Now, you were wrong. As I said you would be at the time. It was 4-0.
And can I just remind you, right, everyone, I got some pelters for that.
Yeah, rightly so.
I had people questioning whether, I was even a United fan anymore because I predicted a loss.
Yeah.
And if anything, I was too kind towards United.
That's true, actually.
Yeah.
So give me a score prediction for this one.
I feel like, I don't know, maybe it is my heart. I feel like we can get some out of this game. I do. I'm going to go for United win.
Go on.
All bets are off in the derby, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? And also, we're not that bad. We've won 4 on the spin. We've beaten Liverpool and beaten Arsenal who are top. Do you know what I mean?
Who have only dropped points to us all season.
Yeah. So let's not kid ourselves that this is, a poor United team because we've got over those first couple of games pretty well. So I'll go 4-3 United.
Oh, big drama at the Etihad. I'm going to be slightly more modest.
Okay.
I think it'll be 1-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I want to see an improvement on last season where it was one of the most sort of demoralising sort of dad not wanting to score too many goals against his kid performances. It was literally awful. Like, we'll just pass it about because we don't, we hate
both games against City last season were like that. The one at Old Trafford felt
utterly embarrassing.
Like a training exercise for him.
Yeah, so as long as it's not like that, and I don't think it will be, I think we'll be able to get something out of it, like I said. So I'm going to go 1-1. And I'd take that as well. I'd be happy. Would you take a draw now?
No.
Good lad.
It's Manchester United.
Get your score predictions in the comments. Let us know how you think this one is going to go. Football is back. Man United are back. And what a game to fucking do it as well. So many games coming up in October, Jay. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for October. Yeah. What a way to kick it off. Thank you, Jay, for coming on.
Can I just plug something? Yeah, talking about what's coming back. The 3 Points in the Gaff podcast is coming back. That's me, Pundit Jay and Mike. So that's me with a City fan and another Red. It's available on audio. We'll put a link in the description. I know. It's the first one back in months.
I'm just buzzing.
So I could be in for a rough time of it there, but yeah, thanks for everyone. Loads of people been asking me on social, so yeah, that's coming back this weekend.
Thank you. Make sure you check out the Sloppy Joe's podcast as well with special producer Jay on it this week. Just search Sloppy Joe's podcast on YouTube. Thank you very much for joining us. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell as well.
Yeah, man. Make sure you're getting all them notifications so you know when we're letting you know about United banging in that 4th goal.
Oh, that'd be so good. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you in a bit.